Welcome to the webinar as it is named, Sustainable, Circular, Future-Proof Rethinking Transformation. And we're very happy that we can give you two very interesting inputs from our speakers, Rainer Bamminger, he's already here, and Johannes Klingelmeier. Rainer Bamminger is from the Technical University of Vienna and Eco-Design Company GmbH, and Johannes Klingelmeier is Head of Strategic Research from the Linz Center of Mechatronics. So you can see there are two technical persons talking about circular transformation, so this is nothing impossible. But before we start with the inputs of Rainer Bamminger and afterwards from Johannes Klingelmeier, I will give you a very short introduction what it is SMERF. So some of you, I hope, already know it because you're part of the project. But if you don't know, SMERF means SME Ready for the Future. This is an international project of the Interreg funding scheme, Central Europe, and started in the beginning of 2023 and lasts approximately till March next year. We are 8 partners from 7 countries, and as you can see on the slides, where the partners located. What we aim for is that we address the key challenges for SMEs in order to do innovation and growth within the ecosystem they are working for. And of course, they also have to fulfill the innovation skills and to be sustainable and to get all these tasks done. In order to be successful, we try to help them with various portfolio of tools. So one of these tools is the SMERF diagnosis tool, a self-assessment tool that everybody can use for itself. And in this tool, there are 4 pillars. They are asked for: the innovation culture, the digital manufacturing, the open innovation and sharing economy, and of course, the green and circular economy and sustainability. As I mentioned before, you get all those slides so you can read through it by yourself. And if you find any links, you can click on them. Feel free, they are all safe. And you will also find a link for the SMERF tool. So if you're interested in doing this in your company, just take your time. There are 2 steps. The first step is very short, so it only takes you a quarter of an hour. If you do it in a more specific way, there are 20 questions per pillar. It will take you a little bit longer. And I think you have to do some investigations in your company before. So if you do so, you can do it in this fast way. Where do you find this tool and how can you use it? Just click on the link here, and then the questionnaire starts. You have to fill out your email address and then you can begin. And it's not just filling something out and do a questionnaire for us, it's also to get some suggestions for you. So in order what you have clicked and what's your results, you can see what are suggestions to obtain these different goals. And we can talk about it a few hours, but from my point of view, the best thing we'll do, just try it and find out. And if you have any question, just feel free to contact us or contact your local partner. And I'm sure they will help you if there are any questions or if you need any suggestions for what to do to be more innovative, to do more open innovation, and to be more sustainable, or to do more green and circular economy in your company with your product. Of course, there are some other activities we are doing. One of them is a knowledge base we are building up. And if you're interested, I would say we can talk about a little bit more about it afterwards, because if we start the discussion now, maybe we'll start too late with our inputs. As I said before, if you have any questions, just feel free. We also have an individual support program. So as Business Up Austria, we are used to do this for a very long time. And within the consortium, we also are here for, if you have any questions, if you need contacts, if you don't have any kind of competence or capacities in your company, just feel free to ask us, and we will see who can help you, who can support you, and who will be the best partner to achieve your goals in order to be an innovative, open innovation, and sustainable company in the future. This is the first webinar or online training, and there will be more of them. So we are the starting point now, and in the next few weeks, you will get more information if you want to the other trainings. They're done by the other partners. And just click on the link to get more information. As you have already clicked for this webinar, there will be more in the future. And in the end of the presentation, you will see that the next webinar is in 2 days, I think. It's the 26th. No, it's tomorrow, 26. It's innovation from the outside in, technology as a customer-driven innovation culture. But we will come to it afterwards again. From now, I would say I hand over the microphone and the floor to Rainer Bamminger. As I've already mentioned, he is from the Technical University of Vienna. And as I can see, Rainer Bamminger is already here. And Rainer, I would ask you to share your screen and give us your input to our transformation to the sustainable and circular economy webinar.
So thank you very much for your introduction. So maybe I try to share my, not maybe, I will try to share my screen. So I hope you can see it.
Loud and clear, as we would say.
Yes. So,
yes.
Okay, thank you, Wolfgang, for introduction, and thanks also to the other organizers for inviting me to give a talk here, a talk about circular economy. Yeah, for all the interested SMEs here to get ready for sustainable circular future. Yes. My task today is, or what I will tell you is, I'll give you some insights about circular economy, how it is defined also, but also how this breaks down into strategies. So how really you can use those strategies. I will show some examples on how the transformation could also happen. So also in terms of a methodology, stepwise approach towards such circular solutions. Short introduction of me. As already said, I'm working at the university, mechanical engineer, and we have here at the university in Technical University in Vienna here, Institute for Engineering Design and Product Development, where we have a research area on specifically on eco-design, where I work already since more than 20 years. And additionally, we have a spin-off company, engineering office, where we really then work with companies together to realize eco-design products. Additionally, I work for the Circular Economy Forum Austria as an advisor on sustainable product design, and also for the Commission as an external expert on supporting them on research proposals. So just one slide, what we're doing, what are our topics. Yeah, LCA assessment is very important here from environmental side, but also then from circularity side. So we have to identify the hotspots. So where are the hotspots in each product? You will see this later on. And then if we know it's this and that component we have to focus on, here is a problem regarding end of life, here's a problem regarding energy consumption, then we can go into circular design, eco design. This is where we're coming from. Yeah, product development. So we have a lot of checklists here to support companies to do the right thing. Yeah. And yeah, in the last 10 years, circular economy is our main focus. So from this eco design, which is actually a bit broader, where the energy consumption was very much in focus, and now more the resources are in focus. And here, additionally to the design, we also focus on business models. Yeah, as next to the design, you have to think parallel how to change your business models in order to be fully circular. And these have to fit together, design and business model. And yeah, here we do tool development, of course, trainings, lectures, knowledge transfer, and of course, R&D projects. Yeah, to start with some introducing slides. Yeah, I don't know how it is in your countries, but Austria, again, very hot, yeah? And it's again a warmest year in the history. At least, yes, last year was the warmest year. This year we will see, but it was already again the last month, the warmest month, like the last month, and the last year was also the warmest year. As you can see it here, every year is again the warmest year, nearly every year, yeah. And now we are in average, we are already currently 1.5 degrees more than it was in the 90s, 60s, between the 90s. That was very stable, but the temperature is rising, and you see it's going up, and we are heading towards 3 degrees. Much more than we have actually agreed on in the Paris Agreement. If you know, 1.5 degree was the target here. So there we are. This 1.5 degree we want to reach actually. And this is not just the temperature which is rising. Also the water temperature is rising. Here you can see that the average during the year from the last 40 years, you can see from 1982 to 2023, and last year you can see the 2023 is already 2 years ago. You can see the rise here, and yeah. North Atlantic, but also Mediterranean Sea last year in areas we had over 30 degrees water temperature. Then the consequences out of it, also pictures, it's getting on the one side warmer, it's getting drier. We have dry season, droughts also, and then heavy rains and floodings. So here pictures on the left from Austria last year, and on the right, this is actually was in France, a picture. So or another picture here, also last year in Austria, so floodings, and yeah, they are coming from this climate change. The climate change is due to emissions, due to greenhouse gas emissions, which warm up the air, and those emissions come from man-made production. As we for our products, production for our products, and also as we need some products, and also as we consume, and we consume much more and more, and therefore more emissions, and so we heat up the earth with our products, more or less, and our production. So Earth Overshoot Day, you maybe know this. This is that day where all the resources are consumed, which by nature are available to us, and which are available to us, and which can be regenerated in 1 year. And if you see 2023 or 24, the Earth Overshoot Day was in 1st August. 1st of August, we have already consumed all our resources for this year. In Austria, we are quicker. Yes, we are always a bit faster. Yeah, already on the 7th April last year, we have consumed all of our resources. If you look back here in the history, in the 70s, beginning of 70s, it was still fit. Yeah, and the end of December, we have consumed all the resources for this year. So it was fine. Yeah, but nowadays, yeah, we would need, if you look at globally, we would need nearly 2 years. Yeah? If you look at Austria, if everyone would do such like an Austrian, we would actually need 4 years. Yeah, to have all those resources available. Circular economy, circularity gap report, which you can have a look at here. A lot of information regarding resource consumption here discussed and provided. It's very nice report. Also, this one here you can see the material consumption over the last years and also into the future. And you can see from 2000, in the last 20 years, from 2000 to 2020, the material consumption doubled. Yeah? And the amount it doubled, yeah, it was actually the rise from the last 100 years. So, and it will double again till 2060. So we need a lot of resources, and the resource consumption is going on. Yeah, and to give you also some numbers, in EU average, every person consumes 14 tons of materials each year. This is a very, very big number. So if you break it down, it's 1.6 kilogram per person per hour you consume as a person, and we or me and everyone else consume each hour 1.6 kilogram. So that's quite a big number, and it's actually unbelievable. Yeah, and here we have to do something about it. Yeah. So where do actually we start with? We start in a linear way, and this is our economy at the moment. So the linear economy, take, make, dispose, is characterized by cheap resources. Cheap resources where actually no externalities, like depletion of scarce resources, they are not included here. Or air pollution is not included. So resources are actually too cheap. So we have economic incentives for short-lived products. The shorter the lifetime, the more sales, the better it is. On the other side, consumer-oriented society, of course, also the consumer uses too much products and buys too much products. With a high consumption of non-renewable products, and on the other side, expensive lifetime extension services. Repair is too expensive. We have high taxes on repair, and also, of course, the hourly rates are too expensive. And also a very unfavorable fiscal framework. So the resource taxation is very low in a lot of cases. Think about kerosene, no taxes on that. So, but how does the EU answer on this? They had an answer to these challenges. EU strategy, Green Deal, I think you all remember, was 2019 when van der Leyen presented this new Green Deal. It was not clear what it is actually for me, but it's actually a very, very interesting thing with a lot of actions, and one action is the Circular Economy Action Plan, which was presented a little bit later. In 2022, so 2 years ago, the Circular Economy package was presented, and within this also an eco-design regulation with circular economy in the heart. So EU strategy, and last year we got a new government, a new commission. You see, maybe you don't see much difference, a few new faces, of course. But what is interesting that now 5 persons are working in the area of circularity, sustainability, energy efficiency, and so on. And this is new. And even there is one specific, Jessica Roswell, she specifically working for circularity. So there is a much more interest in this area. Okay, and now we go towards circular economy. So what is a circular economy? So we have kind of 2 cycles. The one is the biological cycle, where renewable materials should be designed to feed back in their systems, like composting. So this is a cycle. But on the other side, we have this technical system cycle, which is a bit more difficult, where technical products should be kept also in cycles, make use return, where you reuse products, where you remanufacture products, where you repair products. And those circular economy is characterized by long-lasting, durable, efficient used products. And the preference should be on renewables, materials and energy. And we should have economic incentives for longevity through extended producer responsibility, of course, but also through product service systems, where revenues, you get revenues through leasing contracts. And the longer the product then lives, the higher are the revenues, the longer can it be leased or rented. We speak about users, why everything needs to be consumed. So we don't also need to use something, and we don't have to own it. And it's about cooperative regional value chains. And fiscal frameworks, yes, also here we need incentives. We maybe less tax on repair service, but on the other side, carbon tax on products with high carbon emissions. To the definition of circular economy is defined as reuse, repair, remanufacture, and recycling of existing materials and products and components. So not just materials, it's also on product level. What was previously considered as waste should be in future used as a resource. So not just to dump the waste, but we need to reuse the resources efficiently. Also on a very high value, meaning of reuse of components, reuse of products. Here you can see the life cycle of a product from the raw materials to the end of life, and some of those named cycles which we have. We distinguish here between 4, but R's, you maybe have heard of 9 R's or even 11. We can go into repair, we can go into reuse. So reuse means then there is another user, and remanufacturing, so the product goes back to manufacturing, and then it is taken apart, and some components are used, and then it's remanufactured product which looks like new. Or we can go back to the beginning and recycle the materials and start from the beginning. So back to the legislation, Green Deal. Main objective is to be climate neutral till 2050. I know there are discussions at the moment, but still, this is the main aim here, which we target on, and also resource-friendly economy. This is what is one of the main objectives here. And in this resource-friendly economy, this is translated via this circular economy action plan. And the goal is here to promote efficient use of resources by transitioning to a clean and circular economy. And within these action plans, there are a lot of specific actions and also specific regulations they come up with. And I want to show you this picture. Here you see some new directives, some new already in the new Green Deal, some older one, and the directives focus on specific aspects along the life cycle of a product. So maybe you know the restriction of hazardous substances. This is very much focusing on raw materials and production. Then we have the packaging directive, and then we have a lot of directives on this end of life, on waste of electric equipment, or the battery directive, or the end of vehicle directive. This is all end of life. Now new EU taxonomy, whole life cycle. And we also have this eco-design directive. I don't know, energy label, you know, from the fridges, you know, from the TVs. This is here in the use stage. It's about energy efficiency. And this one, so here we have a new version, and this one is called Eco-Design for Sustainable Product Regulation. And this is not just on the use stage, it's on the full life cycle. And here the circularity aspects went into it. And this was introduced last year and is actually already in force. So here the new regulation, Eco-Design for Sustainable Product Regulation, and it replaces this old Eco-Design directive. Eco-Design directive. Now it's a regulation which is in force now and guilty for all countries. And so the objective is here really to improve the environmental sustainability of products. If you compare now the old Eco-Design directive, the old Eco-Design directive was focusing just on energy efficiency. Now it's about recyclability, resource efficiency, sustainability of products. And it's about providing information, but also providing products which are sustainable and which are circular. And here, affected products is just energy products, of course, energy using products. And here it's actually nearly all physical goods. There are few sectors excluded, but the rest is included here. So and from textile, furniture, vehicles, all those products, and also, which is new, it's intermediate products. It's like steel products, iron products, aluminum products. They are also included here. So what are the key aspects on this eco-design sustainable product regulation? So there are 5 aspects. One is eco-design requirements, so concrete eco-design requirements to make products more circular. Then we have information requirements to give information about the circularity and sustainability of the products. This is done via these digital product passports. Then companies are not allowed anymore to destroy unsold products. At least they have to communicate it. So like companies like Amazon and so on. Then fourth aspect is to promote sustainable business models, and then also then for public procurement, mandatory requirements, maybe even higher than for other products, will be set here. So these are the key aspects. I just want to focus on two of them shortly. So here you can see the eco-design requirements defined in the regulation, in the Annex 1 of the regulation. So it's about the durability of the product. It's about reliability. It's about reusability, upgradability, repairability. All those requirements could be relevant for your product. It's about recycling content you have to give. It's about the possibility of remanufacturing. It's about also environmental footprint, carbon footprint, which have to be communicated. So one have to say it's a framework directive, and the specific requirements for the products will be developed. Will be developed then in the upcoming years. So and then published within other laws which are called delegated acts. Then the second aspect is the digital product passport. So the aim is here to ensure that stakeholders along the value chain, like repair companies, like the consumer and so on, can access the relevant product information. Relevant product information regarding how to use the product, how to repair the product. So for the repairer, they need to know what are the electronics behind it, how to open the product, not to destroy it, and so on and so forth. And also for the authorities, you need the ecological footprint, maybe also for the customer. So here a lot of information is provided here. And the digital product passport is a digital product document. It can be a QR code or something else, where you then are guided to this information, with information all over the life cycle of a product. Also the bill of materials, for example, is included here. I have one example for the battery passport, as they are the first ones concerned here. I think this should also already be enforced from the beginning of next year. So here you can see what all have to be communicated here, from general information of the battery weight and so on, but also the carbon footprint. So if we link to the study, also the hazardous substances, the critical raw materials inside, and here also circularity information, recycling content, the manual for disassembly, and so on and so forth. So a lot of information have to be provided here. What is the work plan? Work plan till 2030. Here you can see for end products, textiles, tires, furniture, bed mattresses. For them, regulation delegated act, which is developed, but also intermediate products like for iron, steel, and aluminium. They are targeted here, but also to horizontal requirements, which are then relevant for all products. There is one on durability and one on recycling content. We had this also in the old one, which was one on standby. If you remember, standby was regulated for all the products together. This is what is new. And then also for the energy-related one, as we already have here, the eco-design directive, there is also a plan how to update and expand the requirements for the products which are already in force of this current directive. So there's also a plan for the electrical components, products. And I want to show you one example. Which is actually from the old directive, from the current directive, eco-design directive, and there a regulation was published 2023, so it's not that long ago, and which is now relevant because since a few days, all the smartphones, cordless phones, tablets placed on the EU market have to fulfill those requirements. So this is very new, and I want to just give you this example as it will be similar also for the other products. So what are the requirements, eco-design requirements for smartphones and tablets, which you buy now? They should actually fulfill those requirements. And I just give you here some examples. So spare parts have to be available for minimum 7 years after you buy them, placing them on the market. Disassembly. Spare parts, meaning batteries, meaning camera, microphone, and so on. Then disassembly. Replacement must be feasible with easy tools. So you don't have to be an expert, but it should be easy to disassembly. Battery. After thousands of charge cycles, the capacity should be at least 80%. Water resistance. You have to the device have to comply with IP67 rating. Then we have resistance to accident dropping. From 1 meter, the device can withstand 45 drops without protective cover. Which is also interesting. Then scratch resistant. There's also a requirement. And then we have they have to provide repair and maintenance information within 1 day. So for the repair shops, and then they have to declare the mass range of critical raw materials like cobalt, like neodymium in the loudspeakers and the magnets and so on. Then recycling rates have to be given, and also the recycling content in the product. And also to communicate this, they updated the energy label. So, and the energy label, of course, you have energy classes for the smartphone now, but also here you have then the battery endurance. So how long does one cycle of battery last? How many hours? Here the drop test class, or repairability class, or here the IP, the water resistance. So all this information is given then also on the label for the user to decide actually which smartphone to buy. It was just one example, and it will come in a similar way also for other products. Okay, now I like to show you the value hill, which is a nice graphic to show the typical life cycle of a product within 5 phases. You start here with the raw materials and manufacturing, distribution, and in each step value is added to the product. And then your value, the product value is highest when you sell it. Then you have the use stage at top hill, we call it, and then downhill, the value is mostly destroyed very quickly. When you throw it away, the value is kind of zero. Yes, and it's went down very quickly. This is the linear way. In a circular economy, this looks a bit different, not much, but a bit. You can see the use phase here is much wider, much longer. So in a circular economy, the idea is lifetime extension and to use product more intense. Where the products are repaired, the products are shared, and so on. And in the end, the product or the value in the product should be retained. It should not be destroyed as quickly. So reuse should be follow-off, refurbished product, remanufacture, and then if you go down, recycling, recapture. Yeah? But if you reuse, you can keep the value very high, but you just distribute it, and then a new user can use the product. Yeah? And recycling, you go down here, and then you have to go all these steps up again. Yeah? So this is the idea of this value hill. And in the uphill phase, of course, we have to think about resource-efficient products in order to be repaired. So the design will be different. So that means we have here circular economy strategies along this value hill. As I said, we need here a long life design. We need here some circular design, maybe to have a modular design in order to have products repairable. Yeah, in terms of product-oriented systems, but also to be leased. Yeah? Maybe there are also specific requirements that maybe different users can use the product. If you lease your product, yeah? Then there are also design requirements. So here we have different strategies in order to be more circular. Yeah? I want to go through them quickly. Here, the uphill strategies. So the aim is here to have resource-efficient manufacturing of products. Circular design is one of those strategies. Modularity is one of those keywords, like you have it here. It's a modular building from a company, Lucas Lang in Austria. They built the Austrian parliament, the intermediate parliament, as the other one was renovated, and they knew the building is standing there for just 5 years. But so they know they have to take it back after 5 years, so they build it modular and they build it like this, that they can easily dismantle and then also build again something with it. And now it's actually should be a school made out of it. Yes, this is the goal here. Yeah. So easy to repair. Longevity, of course, we need robust, durable, timeless design. Products which actually getting better over time. Yeah? Maybe you know Bauhaus furniture, they get actually better as they are used. Yeah? Or circular sourcing, of course, to use secondary raw materials, increasing production efficiency. Okay, this we know. Industrial symbiosis is one of those keywords where you use the waste in production of another company as your input, and so resources are more efficiently used. Then top hill strategies. It's here the aim is about lifetime extension and use intensity. So it's more about services. It's about also kind of business models. So we have the life extension services in terms of having spare parts available, having repair services, maintenance services, for example, or product-oriented services. Yeah. So you can also give warranties, longer warranties, longer guarantees on the use of the products. Can give service contracts, also supply consumables, that the product is more efficient and longer used. Yeah? And use-oriented services. So the use of the product is here in core. Not you don't sell it anymore. Leasing contracts, rental contracts, sharing. If you have your drilling machine at home. So you use it once when you build your house, maybe, and then the next time, 15 years later, when you renovate your house. So in between, it's just laying there. So it's not efficiently used. So there you can also could share it, share it with your neighbor and so on. That he is also not having have to have one in his cellar. so that the products are more efficiently used. Yeah? Pay per use, of course. Yeah? And then result-oriented services, those are actually the ones where the circularity potential is highest. Yeah, here you sell the result, yeah, to the customer. Yeah? For example, here square meter of painted facade. Yeah? So the painter, you pay the painter for 1 square meter, and the painter can then decide which paint he is using, how much paint he is using, and so on and so forth. And therefore, he will, because he has to buy the paint, of course, and then he will say, okay, well, then I will use less paint, which I just have to use once, and so on. And therefore, the pressure is on him, yeah, to have here something which lasts long and which is actually very efficiently used. Yeah, here one example is here this carpet. I think I have it also in the slides after, so I don't want to discuss this. And then downhill strategies. So we have reuse. So of second-hand shops, we have one very good in Austria, Willhaben, which is a very good big platform where you can sell second-hand products. Remanufacturing or refurbishment. So refurbishment is more or less, to refurbish the outside. Remanufacturing is really to get back to the manufacturer, take it apart, maybe even upgrade components, and then have as new products. We have in Austria, for example, this refurb platform where they buy B2B, they buy smartphones, they buy tablets and or different other products and resell it or refurbish it and then resell it again. So if you look at a business model, a linear business model, you have in the whole life cycle of a product, you have different areas of value creation. You raw materials, then manufacturing, then the product use, recycling. You know all these steps. And in a linear way, normally you manufacture your product and then you sell it. And just in this step, you create value. And as you sell your products, but the other steps in terms of financing the product use or repair services, refurbishing, the recycling, all those steps you don't use. This is you leave to someone else in the life cycle of a product. This is actually the area of value which is unused. So in this sales module, the profits are purely dependent on sales. Value creation areas in the top and downhill phase, as you have it here, top and downhill. Here is also the value here. These are actually these values here are unused, and therefore there are no incentives for companies for long life service, for value retention, for repairability, maintainability, because you don't profit from it. If the product lasts very long, it actually no profit. Actually, on the other side, if it lasts not so long, then you can sell more products. So that means more sales, more profit. But on the other side, also the resource consumption is going up. If we look at one example, fleet management, Hilti, you maybe know, they produce roto hammers, drilling for construction. So very heavy used, long lasting products. And they don't sell the products anymore. they rent it. Yeah. So if you have a construction site, you need this and this and this tool, and they give it to you. And there is no change of ownership. And he takes care of the delivery, maintenance, and also the repairs. So they also take it back, and if they are they have to be repaired, they take it back for repair service and so on. So the circular economy added value is then internalized. So they have all those things internalized in their area. Meaning they have, if they have more rentals, more profit, and then the resource consumption is going down. Of course, if the product lasts longer, they can have more rentals, more different users. Of course, they need less resources, less products. And therefore, for them, long service lifetime, high repair, maintenance capability, all this will give additional income. If the product is damaged and they can repair it easily, then they can rent it again. If we look back here into these value creation areas, you see we're not just selling the product anymore. So also other areas are internalized now. So they have a leasing model or renting model. So they financing the product use. Then they have a repair service. They can also optimize the use. They can also consult the users and say, okay, you can use it like this, and then you can use it longer, for example. And they also take it back, and they even then can recycle or actually sell the second-hand materials, or refurbish and remanufacture it. But I think the main focus is here on the repair and manufacturing. And they do it even very interestingly. I was there a few weeks ago. They do this also in Austria. For half of Europe, they have a repair shop here quite close to Vienna, where they take back their products and they are dismantle them. They mining for good parts. So here you can see that taking back good components. They collect here, and then other ones which are not usable anymore, they recycle. And here for repair, here is such a repair shop, and they really know with digital support, they know the product have to repair here and there, and then they have different boxes here. Ones are the reused components, and ones are the new components, and they know, okay, here I have a reused component, I can reuse it here and repair my products and give it again for a next rental for next user. Another example, Philips Paperlux. It's often shown example, but I also want to bring it as it's quite nice. Philips, they sell light as a complete package, and the customer here, it's that airport in Schiphol, Amsterdam. They pay for the luminance areas, and Philips takes over the energy bill, so they have to pay the bill. So Philips do the repair and the replacement, and what's the consequences? Of course, Philips will use long-lasting, very efficient lamps, and all the resource savings in the end will result in a profit margin for Philips. And this is what I meant with result-oriented services have a high circular potential, the highest. On the other side, as I said, carpets. Desso is leasing their carpets, so they have a very nice high quality recyclable material, and they want to have them back, so they lease the carpets to shops, business to business, for clothes shops, for example, where after a few use they take them back and they can recycle those materials and really can reuse then in new yarns and produce a new carpet out of it. This is also a quite nice, interesting example. So now some examples now to the transformation. As I said, transformation step towards circularity. We have defined, very easy 4 steps which you have to think about. The first one is really to define the requirements, meaning which where are the hotspots of the products in terms of environmental hotspots. So you have to understand and interpret the life cycle of your product. And then also look at the legal requirements. What is actually requested by law. Then out of this, if you know the product and you know, is it material intensive? Is it the end of life I have to look at? Then you can select the strategy, which is best fitting. Then it's about product improvement, and in parallel to adapt the business model. These have to fit together. If your product is nicely designed for repair, you have to provide with your business model spare parts. These have to fit together, otherwise it doesn't work. So what does it mean? Interpret the life cycle, look at the full life cycle of the product, and identify the significant environmental impact of the product. So do we talk about the raw materials? Do we talk about all the processes in production, or is it distribution? What is relevant? Where are the impacts of my product highest? And these have to be known in order to select the right strategy for your product. And we did this here for Philips. Philips, they produce in Austria these digital voice recorders for professional device for lawyers and doctors. So how does the environmental profile look like for this product? So here I always also give tools, recommend tools here for you, which we also used, which you can use for these different steps, which are helpful. So where are the hotspots? Is it here, distribution, use, end of life? So, and in this case, it's really a material intensive product. So looking at the global warming potential in kilogram CO2 equivalent, so you can see the highest impacts are the materials. So the focus should be here to keep those materials. It's a raw materials, and therefore circularity is relevant. If it's a use intensive product, the energy consumption is relevant, then maybe circularity is not the main option at the moment. It's on energy efficiency. But if we're talking about raw materials, if we're talking about manufacturing, then we can think about also about circularity. So we know there is something coming up, looking at the requirements, so they are not there, but this we could consider here in terms of Annex 1 Eco-Design Sustainable Product Directive, and this will help us also to select the strategy. So we have now, for our product, we have the different strategies, so which we could we take here, and the idea was here to remanufacture this product. In order to do that, we need to have a new business model, and the idea is to have a rental model, so to rent all those products to the hospitals and then to take it back. And in order to have a nicely remanufactured to do the remanufacture easily, we need also to change the design. And to have a modular design, to have it easily to dismantle and to change something and so on. Huh? So actually we selected 3 strategies in order to improve this product. Then, yeah, we can go into product improvement. So there are different ways, of course. We have here the EcoDesign Pilot as a checklist tool, which helps you to increase the product durability, to the remanufacturing. So it gives you some hints. So you can go into improvement. So we did this, improve here the product, the modular concept, design for recycling, design for reuse, design for remanufacturing. So we said that all the components which actually have to be changed need to be designed for recycling, like the cover. The shell need to be designed for recycling. We have to change every new user. They want have a new cover. Also the battery. Then PCBs designed for remanufacturing, because here you have a very short innovation cycle, and there's always some changes. So we said here we want to have here design for remanufacturing, and the rest, all the inner parts, are designed for reuse. And this is here the concept, and we even developed this product further. Then we have to think about the business model. So which areas could we capture additionally? So refurbishing was here the main part, and then we can go into defining the business model with the business model canvas. Think about the value proposition. What is actually my new circular value proposition? Additionally, compare to selling the product. So the idea was here this rental model, as I told you, where the hardware is offered together with a cloud service. So where the lawyers can dictate directly, and it's saved and transferred on a cloud server. And then after the end of the rental contract, the product's getting back and they can be remanufactured. So this is very important, that the product's coming back. If they are just sold, you don't know where they are. It's very difficult. Then example, injection molding machine. Here also the 4 steps. So you can see here the life cycle. And so here it's not the raw materials. Here it's actually the use stage. It's about the drive. It's about dosing. It's about heating the plastic. It's about cooling. So it's a use-intensive product. So circularity is maybe not so important here, but it's more like energy efficiency. So the strategy was reducing energy consumption at usage. So focusing on this reduction of energy consumption, the waste heat. And the idea was here to insulate the extruder where the temperature really could get and the energy needed then could be reduced. Here, before it was over 200 degrees, now it's 100 degrees, and the energy also could be reduced by 40% in this case. And adaptive business model, so now they offer a retrofit kit, where you could retrofit and sell this insulation. Which was a project we did already a long time ago. Or mobile phone. Mobile phone is production, and raw material intensive. So the production is highest, and here all the electronics are here have a very high impact. So what is it? What we have to do here? The idea is really to keep all the invested energy, all those invested resources here in production, to keep them and not to go into recycling. So the key aspect in terms of circularity is really to reuse those electrical components here as long as possible. So the idea is extend the use time in terms of easy to repair. Was here one strategy. So the product should be improved in terms of modular structure and availability of spare parts. And these and also then to adapt the business model and to sell these spare parts, of course. And this was done. I just want to give you one example of this Fairphone. So here you see a modular smartphone, consists of 6 different modules, and here you have the camera module, the front camera and the back camera, and here the microphones, and so they are missing here. You see, here the holes. Here is the battery actually, and here are the other modules. And they have their goal was really that the end user can repair the smartphones, and therefore they also have a very high repairability score. Okay, what are now the benefits of circular product? What are the benefits of this transformation towards circular economy? So first step, you know the environmental profile of your product. This is key, to know and not do the wrong thing, to really focus on the relevant environmental impacts. Of course, to meet future needs in terms of regulation, then to do targeted decision, according to the environmental profile, according to the needs, you do targeted decisions, and you know where you have to go. Then you improve your product, you go into high quality products, and which on the other side have improved environmental performance. Also, this is kind of a side effect here, but it's also needed here, to look at the environmental impact, and that circularity don't goes into the wrong direction. It can also be that circularity have a high environmental impact, but this shouldn't be the case. And to have new business areas with which new business models. For example, if you go into remanufactured, refurbished products, new business areas, you are closer to the customer, to the user in terms of repair, leasing models. So of course you're much closer to them, and it's clear that it's also an image game if you invest into circularity, sustainability, and environmental solutions. And these should secure the future viability of a company. And I just have, I think, 1 or 2 slides more. Well, actually, this is the last slide, a summary of the tools I showed you, which are maybe of interest for you. So here in Catchy, this was a new project where I developed nice tools. The Circular Economy Designer, a nice tool to assess your product and improve your product in terms of design. Circular economy strategies as your business models. This is really like how selecting strategies, and then according to the strategies, the tool helps you to define a new circular business model. But we also have other tools like ecosystem pilot is already 20 years old, but it's a checklist tool for circular design, very nice. Or one tool on textiles, one on D4R, design for reuse, remanufacturing, recycling, for mobile electronics, so it's on electronics. And these all for free, and you can use them, and they will help you into this transformation. And with this, I wanna say thank you. And if you have any questions, just let me know.
Thank you, Rainer. A very bright overview, more than 360 degrees from the product, even to the financial aspects you have to consider, and finding the way to the business model was a very good input. Thank you. There is one more or less question. It is a question because there's one question mark. Is repairing too expensive? Maybe you can read it by yourself, Rainer. It's in the chat section. New stuff is too cheap, or is it? Are there other aspects that disable us to be more circular? What is your opinion about this?
Yeah, well, it's both. Yes, of course. Repairing is too expensive. I would say, yeah, especially in Austria, the salaries are quite high, and therefore, if you have to pay a person for 1 hour to repair something, then you, in some cases, you even can buy a new product. Yeah? This is clear that this is too expensive, but on the other side, it's also clear that products are much too cheap. If we would produce here an iPhone in Austria, this would cost about 3,000 euro, not 1,000 or even 4,000 euro. Yeah, and then the relation is a bit different. Yeah, and then I have to think about repairing. We stated the example of an iPhone. Yeah, repairing it here in Austria, okay, will cost 300 euros, or buying a new one for 4,000. Yeah, then the gap is much bigger. So I would say yes, it's both. But yeah, resources are much too cheap, and this is as externalities are not integrated. Yeah, as I said it, it's yeah. Companies are not paying for scarce resources. Yeah, I mean, they are paying for it, but they are not paying for that. They are getting scarer and scarer, yeah, or rarer and rarer. So clear that products are too cheap. Yes. So I fully agree with both points. Yes.
Yep. From my point of view, there's another problem that things are getting more and more complex, and the personnel is not that trained to repair those things. This is especially if you go to a garage with your car. It's the one thing. But the other thing is, do you think that the act, the Right to Repair Act that maybe will come from the European Union will have an impact on the costs of repairing something?
Well, I mean, in the first place, it's then for the first time, it's possible to repair something. Yeah, I mean, it's nowadays, it's in a lot of cases, it's not possible to repair a TV. Yeah, after 2.5 years, my TV was damaged. Yes, it was the electronic component. The component costed about 50 cents or even less. Yeah, and it was not possible to get those components from Asia or somewhere. Yeah, so we had to throw it away. I had to buy a new one, and this should not happen again, as I have shown you with the smartphones. Spare parts should be available at least 7 years after the last model is sold. And this is also, there are also already regulation on refrigerator available, where all those sealings have to be available even 15 years. Yeah? Okay, refrigerator lifetime is longer. So 15 years after the last model is sold, spare parts have to be available. Huh? And also within 5 days in Europe. So you cannot even ship it from China to Austria. So they have to be somewhere here in Europe and to be available in a very short time. So therefore, I really think that this will be much easier. Yeah, and right to repair is really also about the costs. Yeah, and there is also a statement regarding how much does a spare part is allowed to cost. So also this is regulated, that not the spare part costs about the same than a new product. So and then no one is repairing it anymore. So it will get cheaper. Of course.
Thank you. There is another question that can be very long, because are you really convinced that people, especially customers, will change their behavior just because if they knew even more information about products? So I think this is a little bit according to the digital product bus. I have an opinion a bit. Changing behaviors is the most difficult things, because we are all used to do something and we don't like to change it. But do you think that there will be a change of behaviors in the next few years, Werner?
Regarding the digital product passport, I mean, there are also other regulations where a lot of information regarding the supply chain will be needed, and this supply chain will get more transparent. And if we really know also what is all behind those, what are the previous step in order to produce my product, I think, in some cases we will change. In some we will change anyway. In some cases also, companies are forced to change their decisions. It's also not just about the end consumer. It's also about the production itself. They have their supplier, and they don't know what the supplier are doing, and then it's hopefully the information they provide it's also true, and then it's more clear which substances they're using, how they produce, where they produce, and so on and so forth. And the companies also have their goals in terms of critical materials, in using critical materials, in using in decarbonization, and so on and so forth. And of course, this will change. And the biggest customer, the biggest buyer, are the public authorities, and they are also legally binded, to have those circularity requirements in their offers. And this is in Austria, I don't know, 50% of all the things we buy is bought by the governments. So therefore, here also a big change will happen in future. And then we know a bit better what is actually all behind these chairs we are sitting on here at the university. I didn't bought it, so but it's a governmental, of course, building, and not government, but public building, and there those requirements of this eco-design for sustainable product regulation for this green public procurement is also binding. Yes. And additionally, I think also, I mean, if we look nowadays at younger people, I think the mindset already changed. And I hope this will proceed further, and we get more into trainings, and we get more into schools, and they get more informed about all those processes, and then they can take informed decision, which we could not do.
Thank you. Are you here for the rest of the webinar?
Well, I have to actually not, no. So if more questions are here, please answer it quickly, or I can also answer it then later on. But I have to leave.
We are allowed to share your slides afterwards, I think.
Of course, yes. Mm-hmm.
So there are your contact addresses, and of course there are the links for the tools as well, so everybody can use it afterwards and have a try. So try the tools of Rainer and then try the SMERF tool, please. Then you can compare what's better or what's more sufficient, and I think you will find out you need different tools to get different insights, and there is not one way to get more sustainable for the future. There are various ways. In the end, we all do profit from being more sustainable and more circular. We'll anyway hand over to our next speaker and say thank you to Rainer again.
Thank you too.
Our next speaker is Johannes Klingelmeier. Johannes Klingelmeier is part of the Linz Center of Mechatronics. He is responsible for the strategic research and transformation. Transformation has always been part in the mechatronics and machinery sector, and in the beginning it was more from the mechanical side to be more software and more mechatronics, and now the next transformation is be more sustainable and changing the linear system to a circular system. And Johannes, I'm sure you're already here because I've read your name before.
So I'm here. Hello.
Yeah. I even don't see you now. Now I find you. And Johannes, yeah, I would say the floor is yours. You have your presentation. Please feel free to share it with us and give us your input to your thoughts about transforming the ecosystem to a more circular economy.
Very fine. Thank you, and very welcome from my side. You see my slides?
Science becomes reality.
Yes, perfect. Okay, so I would like to.
But now we can't hear you. Johannes, you turned off your microphone, I think.
Hello? Back?
Now we can hear you again. Very good.
Perfect. Whatever happened. So I would like to talk to you about product design and product design opportunities towards circular economy. So I would like to thank very much Rainer for his presentation overview with a lot of perspectives. And I would like to go into something a bit more specific, just because I think some kind of a scenario thinking and depicting is helpful in moving on. But first of all, of course, the big picture is important. See, again, the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, addresses and readdresses every year that what we are doing as a society is not sustainable, that we are increasing the temperature levels of the Earth. And even though we know this and we see all the consequences, the real question is, why is it so hard for us to change? So we would see all the opportunities. There are things to do. Why is this so tough for us? Why aren't we just, changing the processes because we know what's kind of happening? And one of the answers is that consequences are in the far future. So it doesn't really change my way of living from today to tomorrow if I live a more sustainable life or I don't. And I don't get an immediate response if I, let's say, use a product longer or do binge buying or buy unsustainable even food or goods overall. So the thing is that the consequences of what we do are in the far future. And I would like to give you a kind of a bit of a different perspective of what's about to come and how the regulations that are about to come could help us finding those consequences a bit better. So if you, every every doctor that you would go to. Let's say you have an issue with some health issue which builds up. It could be eating unhealthy, just as an example. And then the doctor would tell you, you know, in 10 or 20 years, you will have a problem, because you might have a higher likelihood to get certain disease or certain illness overall. And what the doctor would tell you is maybe you better do something now. And the one thing is give you advice, and the second is to give you a kind of regulation. And in the end, what we could understand, the regulations that the European Union is doing and the European Commission could be understood in exactly the same direction, which means we all know where we are heading, and in order to be prepared, we have to have regulations such that once we run out of resources, we already have a plan how to deal with these scarce resources and the resources if they're not there anymore, just as an example. So, and that's why the eco-design regulation, the ESPR, could be considered a bit differently. So this is this regulation that my previous speaker already presented to you. Like all things, it all had its way. It's been through institution of the European Commission in 23, in 24. It's been finally approved, and it will get into action as this demands national law implications by something like 2027, when the first product requirements will apply. So there is a time in between when we can prepare until the first, let's say, law acts happen. And maybe to give you, to remind you of what this in the end was, the ESPR has several aspects. It is about information, and it is about product restrictions. But for now, for until 27, 28, main products, as Rainer said before, such as steel, mattresses, and furniture, and aluminium, need to convey information on 17 properties. And here is this information, the categories, once again, on the products, the product properties, from what's the recycled content of a product, how is its reusability, and how good can you recycle these, amongst others. Those are the 17s that every product will have to have its kind of stamp, its information. And for a specific product, this will look something like this. You have the a profile that the product has a certain expected waste generation and has a certain durability. And then it's up for the customer, the consumer, to say, well, I prefer one product over the other. And you will have some guidance tools, some assistance tools to help you decide. And while some customer would say, I'm very interested in energy efficiency and reliability, some other customer will say, well, for me, it's resource efficiency, or it's repairment, for example. And another customer will have another set of requirements. So this kind of information that we have on the products will provide further transparency to customers and how to, let's say, assess the quality of a product. This already happens currently, of course, as we all do, as we all are customers, but this will increase because of this transparency of information. And we already had this question in the Q&A session beforehand. Do we think that customers in the end change their behavior? And here we have strong indication. So just as a reference, I did a major research project on this with customers. Here in my presentation today, it's just a side note, but let me elaborate on this a bit. So we had such 20 property or 30 preference perspective on all the products in a grocery store in 2 supermarkets in Austria and in Estonia. And over a time period of 3 months, we gave this information to customers and we looked whether people change their purchasing behavior. So they bought different goods with their own money. They spent different amounts of money on this. And obviously they consumed, they ate those products as well. And it turns out that the overall behavior changed. And interestingly, on the aggregated level, the overall behavior changed towards more sustainable purchase behavior. So it turns out that once people have this kind of information, they really change their behavior. So, but what of course is needed here is to have reliable information. And that's what this digital product passport, which is part of this eco-design regulation, will provide. So now we have these indications and we have the products. This means that for customers that want high reliability or high maintenance and refurbishment, and your product does not provide it, there's an immediate call for action, which means we were, when referring to Rainer's presentation on the business model, you need to have a new a business advantage, a new interest, a customer demand. And here the customer demand comes with the digital product passport directly, if you follow the argumentation that I pursued so far. So you have the customer demand, and then on the second side, you will also have the financial markets and the public procurement that will or may require a certain level of, let's say, resource efficiency, a certain level of repairability for your product. So again, here you have an immediate call for action. So you as a producer, first of all, are able to measure your product. You understand that the repairability of your product is, let's say, 1 out of 10 points. And then the question arises, how do I change my product? So you have your product and it's a repairability needs to be improved. How do you do this? And then you realize, well, your product has a certain supply chain, relies on other products. And those other products, again, rely on other products. And they also have their own digital product passport, and so on, and so on. So obviously, it is not so easy to understand how you can actually, in the end, improve the repairability of your product. So let's go to something more simple. At the Linz Center of Mechatronics, the research and technology organization that I work for, we have one focus, which is on electric engines, electric motors. And we know very well how to design such a motor in terms of weight, quality, price, product properties that we've been very good in the last 20 years. But from now on, 2017 on, 2027 on, we will now also need to improve our product in regard of a property that we don't really know. Repairability is not amongst our, let's say, our wings. We don't really know this, because that's outside of our organization. So we need to collaborate with other companies that know how to recycle, how to measure, and how to repair our product. So what we and everybody who is within this scheme will have to get better in is to do cross-company product design. Because, as said, the dependencies of your product will rely on other products in other companies. So again, let's be a bit more concrete. So if you design an electric engine, your engine depends on several on some parts. For all of those, you will have design elements. So how this product property is designed, you have a digital twin, and you can calculate the digital product passport, and you get values for the CO2 balancing, for durability, reliability, repairability, and all the 17 others. For a lot of those properties, you will then be able to give the numbers directly, and for some, like the CO2 footprint, you need information that is beyond your internal knowledge. So you need to obtain information from somewhere from the outside world. So you would ask some external expert to give you the knowledge about what's my ability for upgrades. You will get a feedback, you get an answer, everything is fine. But what happens if for some other property, let's say CO2 balancing, your digital product passport does not provide sufficient consequences and values? Then you would need to redesign your product in terms of quantity that you are not really an expert on. Typically, you don't even know which of your parts you would need to redesign. And you need to go over and over and over and constantly see, well, if I change my parameters here, what's the output? If I change my parameter here, what's the output? So you would need to do an optimization loop to integrate all the digital twins representations within your organization and outside ones in order to improve the CO2 footprinting, because you have no idea which values you need to change and which properties you have to address. Okay, let's step back a bit. With the the eco design regulation that is about to come 2027, 2028 for the first parts, and further later on, we see that the customers will change the behavior. We see that products need to be designed in a different way. The question is, how do we get there? We know that the competences that we need to obtain is in the realm of cross-company product design, but we at the same time understand that our product is heavily involved with other products, with other properties, that it's not so easy to get there to do this. Well, the good thing is it's not yet 2027. So we can start, we don't need to apply directly. We can start, create the competences, learn, and get closer. And if you are close to product design, you know that the time window that we have is really close and short, but we can start, we can get prepared. So here's an example of what you can do. Of course, start small as a first element. Just pick one of your partners, one element within your realm of supply network, and build up competences with them. So just like we would help you is building up competences with one element along the lines. And then this is also regarding to what Rainer said, which one to choose, and is there an effect, and is there effectiveness, which means where should I do my first steps? Is it the design phase? Is it a usage phase? And you can obtain this information. You need to do potentially life cycle assessment, understand what kind of different abilities there are for creating your product. And this is, as a first step, see how others did it. And we did a first understanding of how other companies do it. And we wanted to see whether a company just like the Tesla motor, is there the electric engine in the Tesla Model 3? Is there actually space for is there flexibility in terms of CO2 footprinting? And we will get to this in a second. You can also build up your competences by learning from how others extended their network, attached new partners. And then, of course, the most effective is learning by doing, define your own use case, get closer to reality, and test a service. And I would now like to just jump into all of those elements to give you a real concrete idea of what this could mean, how you can build up your competences. When in the demonstration perspective, as said, we looked into the Tesla Model 3 and wanted to see whether it is possible and to design this motor in a more sustainable perspective. And here is the answer of our first investigation. And on the x-axis, you see a logarithmic scale, which means if you look at, for example, the blue lines, there is a difference of a factor of about 10 if you choose a different setup for your engine in terms of water toxicity. There is also around the factor of 50 in terms of the product effects in terms of human toxicity, which means there is quite space of improvements for electric engine, just like in the case of a typical motor as it is used in the automotive sector. Secondly, I would now like to show you a best practice example of how you can extend your internal processes and information with external information. So if you're a company and you have your own company boundaries, and in order to calculate or do your processes, you depend on external know-how. And here I would like to give you an example of a company that included external know-how, but not in the way of I phone somebody and ask them about the consequences of my product, but in an automated digital fashion. And the example that I would like to show you is that of two companies. One is NEMAC and the other one is Phil. One is doing a production process and the other one is providing some manufacturing machinery to it. To get a bit more concrete, the company NEMAC is doing blasting alloys, so it's creating aluminium blasts. And wherever there is space in the geometry that where there should be no aluminium, they have sand kernels. And then there is another company, in this case it's the company Phil, and they have a machinery that can get rid of those sand kernels. And the company NEMAC found out that, well, if they use the machinery properly, they can speed up their production process. And the company Phil said, well, if you give us your information about the geometries from your customer, we can tell you about the answer, but we will not give you our internal knowledge. So we have the idea of an optimization process from field to NIMAC. They could provide a digital service, but NIMAC does not want to provide their data, and the same applies for the field, the supplier. But in the end, with our software framework, we created a digital service, an intermediary, such that the company could improve their production process and obtain the information from the external world, so to say, from Phil, the product consumer, the machine producer. So NIMAC does not hand over data about their geometries and about their production process outside its company boundaries, and Phil, the machine provider, does not tell NIMAC about the specific properties of the machine, such that nobody could copy or easily copy the Phil machinery. And in the end, what we ended up with is some kind of combination of production processes. Here, digital twins on a certain production process, integrating information from externals to better design, as we have here, the effects of the product to the of the machine to the product. So that's the deformation that you get with the film machine, and it helps you to optimize the design process over here. Overall, this helps companies get their first steps in the world of digital services and connecting their internal design processes with external ones. As first, you add one, let's say over here, design parameter and exchange data with the external ones, and then you move on to additional partners. And what is essential to say is that the interaction now becomes an automized process. It's no more a, let's say, detached design process where you would just phone an external company and say, well, what's your feedback on the design we have? It's an automized process because you have no idea in which direction you have to change your processes. And at the same time, you don't have to hand over the data to the externals. You can simply use a digital platform to calculate and give you responses on the demands that you have. Here, just think of the comparison of the weather forecast. If you would like to know the weather forecast for tomorrow, you simply provide the information about the location that you are, and then you get a response, all the information that you need, but you do by no end get the information of the provider on which models they used, which data they used, and you cannot replicate or reuse this information for further knowledge or use. This is, so to say, a totally different approach, and which in the end adds up into a product design space where you integrate information from various companies into your design process, and you can then calculate the digital footprint and repairability in other processes for your own product. You start with one and you get over time add properties of furthers in order to improve your product, and especially in regard of improving the properties for the digital product passport. I wanted to give you here a specific example on how a product design could be readdressed and rechanged, and how you can build up competencies for cross-company product design. And I would like to leave it here and leave space for discussions on this use case, digital services, digital platforms. And yeah, I'm happy to take your questions and engage in a conversation right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Johannes. Are there any questions to Johannes? Nobody wrote one to the chat part, but maybe I have one. You had this example where Nemak was heading his demands, and the supplier was Phil, I think. Yeah? No,
Yes.
Vice versa. Phil needed a part, Nemak made it. Yeah. Do they need the same design studio, or is it really open so that everybody can use its own designing tools, and you can interchange with everybody? Or are there any restrictions?
Well, it is. I think it's a bit comparable to the app store that you have on your smartphone. Of course, there needs to be some level of interoperability. You need to understand the information that you obtain. You need to be able to interpret the information that you have. But the software environment and the tool set that was needed on the other end to get to this answer is totally up to them. So there is, of course, a certain level of interoperability as said, but it doesn't have to be kind of the same. You just need to have a certain ability. Maybe framing it a bit differently. Also, if you take the automotive infrastructure, highways and streets, as long as the elements that drive on the streets know how to behave, it doesn't matter who produced the car or whether it's a car or a bicycle, as long as you have a common understanding of the ways to interact, that's sufficient. And by the way, here are certain standards on its way. On the one end is the Gaia X or Catena X communities, which build up such data spaces, which they do not provide knowledge in the terms of digital twins of machinery. They just tell you, well, this is a reliable partner. This is a bicycle. This is a car that's on the street. You can trust it. And in case something happens, you know where to go because it has a license plate, and you know how to speak to this person in order to ensure that you could use it as a taxi or whatsoever. So there are certain infrastructure and digital infrastructure tools in place for communication. And there are the digital product passport, which is again an element to hand over information from production to usage and to recycling, the recycling world. Because here again, you have the same situation. The recycler also wants or needs to know, or the repairer needs to know about the information in the production process. And somehow you need this to hand over this kind of information. And digital product passport, for example, has is about to develop and is going to have a standardized interface on how this information is forwarded.
Okay, thank you. Maybe a question was coming up. Not yet. Johannes, I'm sure we are allowed to share your presentation as well.
Definitely,
and
yes.
Your contact data are included. So if there are any questions that are coming up a few days later or a few hours later, or you feel more satisfied if Johannes for you alone. So feel free to contact him. Yeah, I would say thank you again at this point, and thank you for your input. Maybe there is the one or the other company that will participate on your idea and your product, and one of the project partners can give it forward, and so there is a transnational sharing of ideas and concepts. As we're coming to an end of the webinar, we will leave this room open for you. So if you just feel free to do any other discussions afterwards. But before we are coming to the final end, I will remind you that there will be a next webinar tomorrow. And just struggling with a lot of windows currently now. Sharing one slide again with you. Tomorrow, you can hear about innovation from the outside in, technology from customer-driven innovation culture. Ellen Murad, business coaching consultant, will have this webinar. If you scan the QR code here, you will find the webinar for tomorrow. And as I'm not really sure, but I think you will see all the other dates of the other webinars as well. They are coming up, and I would say thank you for your participation. And if there are any questions, just take this chance now. Because if there are no more questions, I would say thank you for being here, and have a nice afternoon and a nice lunch now. Thank you.
Thank you.